Almost 200 years ago, the countryside of central New York was terrorized by a gang of thieves and cutthroats. Men who spread fire and destruction by night and yet in the daytime could be seemingly kind and businesslike inhabitants. They were known as the Loomis gang. Entangled in the story of the gang was a rural justice of the peace, Judge Uri Rhoades, who sent a number of the gang to punishment in those days just after the Civil War. Uri was a God-fearing and strict jurist who kept court in his own home on what is today Rhoades Road. It could be said that Judge Rhoades feared God, but he feared no one else. Although the Loomis gang wielded the torch on those who got in their way, Judge Rhoades put his duty before his personal safety. While the main prey of this notorious gang was fine horses, they did not stop at stealing sheep, furniture, wagons, and even the clean wash from your clothesline. One day, 2 of the gang had been discovered in a theft of household goods and were caught red-handed to be presented to Judge Rhoades. There was no doubt of their guilt. But the judge wanted to be sure, so he ordered all of the loot be brought to his home and placed in the spare room at one corner of the house. It was his purpose to have the goods identified by the owners first. The 2 culprits were allowed temporary freedom until their guilt could be established beyond doubt. It was then Uri's intention to send them to jail, regardless of personal consequences. 2 days later, the judge saw a small piece of cloth stuffed under the sill of his house. He examined the unusual sight and pulled out the cloth. Behind it was a crumpled paper and other tinder which had been lighted but had failed to burn directly under the room with the stolen goods. Later on, the judge's son, Uri Jr., had headed home at sunset on the road near the Loomis home when 6 men emerged from the woods on horseback. They surrounded him and rode in silence for a while before turning around. It was never known if the gang intended to kill him as payback to his father or if they had counted the cost and decided to let the boy go.